let's proceed. I'll ask you the same set of questions afterward, and we'll see what kind of progress we're making.
Now, the NFPA, we're going to talk about a few different things. The NFPA, this is what I first looked into when I started investigating it. And the NFPA it's the National Fire Protection Association, and they set the standards for the fire service. And they're not laws, they're not mandates that we have to follow, but they're guidelines. And as an example, it's staffing. If you don't follow certain rules going into a fire, you better have a good reason why the city's not doing it. Because if someone gets hurt, they're going to get sued because they're not following the national standards. So the same thing happens with fire and explosion investigations. And this is the NFPA 921. Now, there's no manual for when a plane flies into a building. This is the national standard. And it was adopted on. This was approved as the national standard on February 9th, 2001. And so, just to be clear, for firefighters, we're actually making a video out of this. And so, for firefighters, we'll be seeing this later. This is not, they don't have to follow this exactly. What it was created for was for smaller cities that don't have their own arson investigation units. In this way, they could come in and they could see what are the basics that we should follow. And I've talked to some senior investigators in our department and actually across the country, and they've said they don't have to follow these exactly, but what they typically do is they go way beyond these. So we're going to be looking at the absolute basics. This is like 101. And so once you see that what the basics call for, you're going to be surprised.
Myth. Fire is the obvious cause of the high-rise collapses.
Is that true? Well, buildings, high-rises are destroyed by a number of different forces. Let's take a look at these. Fires destroy buildings quite differently than controlled demolitions, for instance. We also have earthquakes, which cause the destruction of buildings. We have explosions and other types of forces. Let's look at fires first. Fire is an organic process, moves through the building about every 20 minutes or so, burning out one area, leaving it to cool, and looking for fresh new fuel sources. So in this organic process, any building that succumbs to fire, that collapses, starts usually with large gradual deformations, and the building will begin to fall over, not straight down through the path of what was the greatest resistance. We've never had a high-rise collapse due to fire, even though there's been plenty of examples of much hotter, longer-lasting, and larger fires. But say in a wood frame building, fire would cause those features. These buildings collapse by organic or natural methods, in these cases, earthquakes. The structural system is not dismembered from itself. There's what appears to be a mangled building at the bottom.